Hi everyone. Can someone confirm if you can hear me?
Hi, Jiren.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
you're very much audible.
Awesome. So I'll be your moderator today. Maybe we can give some few minutes, like 5 minutes, for some more entrepreneurs to join, and then we can start. Okay, so I can see some more people are joining. So guys, in the meantime, can we have maybe someone extroverted and brave? I don't want to choose anyone. Can someone please maybe introduce themselves from the entrepreneurs, tell us a bit about the business background, and maybe how business has been doing recently? Anyone who's happy to volunteer, guys?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Tobias Ayugi, and I run Desert Green Car Wash, which is located in Kisumu. And so far, what I can say is that in the month of September, business was very low. Actually, between the month of towards the end of August and the larger part of September, business was actually very low. When I realized that, of course, the elections, of course, interfere with the business somehow. It took me quite some time for me to realize some of the businesses that, of course, were lost in a way, or some customers just were not there. I had some people who used to give me a lot of tractors to wash, but all of a sudden they were not there. Most because of politics, of course, there were challenges. They went back to their homeland. But of course, right now I'm seeing quite a number of them are coming back. So it was somehow slow, but right now it is peaking in a way. So elections actually interfered with my business to some extent. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Tobias. Thank you for speaking up. I'm sure also the price of OMPD has something to do with the kind of customers getting so late. Is that correct?
Maybe, but I'm sure elections, the interference of elections was clear to me. Fuel, of course, it's there partly, but of course, elections was very clear. Some of my customers, especially the people who are not Luo, the Kalenjins and Kikuus, most of them went back to their homelands. So those vehicles, those tractors, the big trucks that were coming to the Kenya breweries and washing their vehicles at my car wash, they were not there for quite some time, about a month or so. But right now, because towards the end of September, and right now I'm seeing business resuming.
Okay, so Tobias, thank you so very much for introducing yourself. Hopefully business will pick up. Maybe before we can officially continue, can we get someone maybe from the coastal area, maybe from the Mombasa region, such, to just introduce themselves and tell us how business is inaendelea huko? Yes, sitaki kuwa nominate. Hakuna mtu kutoka side za coast anaweza tuambia biashara iko wapi? Anyone from Mombasa hapa? I can see Hamisi Juma.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Karibu sana.
Hamisi Juma wa Masi Products hapa. Huku tunashukuru, ndio kumekuwa na effect kidogo na hiyo election, lakini at least hizi kuna pay. So ni kung'ang'ana na tunatarajia mazuri zaidi.
Asante kwa tueleza hivyo. Kwa hivyo nadhani we are a good number now, so we are about to start the meeting. I would like to introduce today's speaker. His name is Jason Njichi. He's from Somo. So karibu sana Jason. I'm sure we're going to have a very interactive session. Thank you. But just go ahead and take over.
Okay, thank you so much, Duran. And good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Hamisi. So today, I wanted to share with you a few of the things which I've learned the past 1 year as a business development lead at Somo Africa. And the goal of today's sort of discussion is try to understand where is funding going to. Most of you being entrepreneurs who've received the initial funding from Somo Africa and also are on the pathway towards getting more funding. I wanted us to have a discussion on what are investors keen about right now? What kind of questions would you be able to encounter as an entrepreneur seeking more investment? And what steps can you take as an entrepreneur to make sure that your business is ESG compatible? So the goal of today's class, if you're going to get anything, is the term ESG. We're going to be repeating it a lot. And it's important to you as an entrepreneur to do more research on it. The mission for this check-in is to just let you know of this information, try and get ideas from other entrepreneurs from within this forum who have maybe practiced, who are practicing ESG principles, and how it has helped them in their business, as well as draw a roadmap towards how you can make your business to be more ESG compatible. Yeah, so that's the whole plan for today's session. I'm really excited because in the quest for funding, there's a lot of things which investors want. And the biggest challenge to any person, any business person, is where will they get people to believe in them in order for them to give them money. A lot of investors will say that they're not very keen on how the business is going to be making profit. It's one of the factors which they look at, but more often than not, they look at the why, the reason behind you starting the business. And today we have a framework that was sort of developed because most of the time when people were looking at the impact which their businesses had, they are looking more of the financial impact, maybe the number of jobs created, the amount of product, the volume of the product sold, or the amount of people they have reached using their services. And this is okay. However, other corporations, and mostly the big corporations and organizations such as the European Union, were of the fact that as businesses, they must have a set of principles or a set of guiding practices that enable people or enable corporations to deal with employees fairly, to be transparent in their dealings, and also to protect the environment in which the companies were situated. So it's important for us as small and medium enterprises to be aware of the rules that the big corporations are playing by, because most of the time these investors are basing their facts and their data on how the big corporations are moving. So it's important as an entrepreneur starting out now, or as you're building out your structure, to be able to see and gauge whether your business is ESG positive, and we'll find out what that means, and how you can easily restructure or frame your business model for it to be ESG positive. So I'm really excited. I hope that in the course of the next 30 to 44 minutes, we should be able to have shared a bit, and yeah, we'll be able to see like what ways can we infuse these practices, and if we are doing it, how can we better communicate it whenever we are pitching to investors, whenever we are looking at different kind of customers, if you're doing if you're doing trade between businesses, and if you're seeking partners. Because the reality of the matter is a lot of partners right now, as you continue growing and developing in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, especially in Kenya, we look at how you do your business practices. How do you pay your workers? And what effect does your business have on the environment? Is it a positive effect, or are you adding to the carbon footprint? So most of these terms as entrepreneurs, you might be aware of it. You might have encountered some of these questions when you're pitching or when you're coming up with your business model or your business plan. But we actually want to take this moment to cement it and to be able to discuss and demystify it. So I hope this discussion is going to be as engaging as possible. Feel free to use the chat box. Feel free to share your views. And I hope that by the end of the discussion, you'll get out with something. So are we together up to that point with the introduction? Do we know what our goal is from this point?
Yes, Jason.
Okay, thank you very much, Shady. Shady, how is business?
How is my
Business, how is it so far?
Oh, right now I cannot complain that much. After do away with the election is now kind of picking up.
Very good. I'll order a pair of shoes from Moya Footwear very soon.
I'll be glad.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, what we're going to look at right now is the terminologies behind environmental, social, and governance principles. The goal for this is, as entrepreneurs, you need to be at least aware of what these principles are so that in the course and in the quest of you trying to get funding, you should be able to express yourself. In other words, usipatikane pabaya, ukiulizwa maswali and then you don't know what to say. So here are like 4 objectives which we want to try and see if you can get all of them, and if not, at least maybe 2. So at the end of the lesson, you need to be able to define the 3 ESG principles. And then by the end of this lesson, another thing which you should be able to at least have started to develop a palette for would be to attract investors, both foreign and local, and assure them that their investments will be secure and efficiently managed in a transparent and accountable process. So whenever you're looking for funding, right now, most of you are in the stage where you want to scale your businesses or you want to increase production. You've already proven that your business is running and it is successful. So even how you're talking to investors and how you're pitching your business should show the level of growth and the level of experience and the kind of impact your business has had in the environment. Now, another thing which you're going to be, which should be an objective that you should be able to achieve at the end of this session, is to be able to create effective and efficient companies and business enterprises. So you want to be more competitive, you want to be more efficient in terms of the way you're producing. If you're more competitive and you're more efficient, that means you're opening yourself more to getting more funding from investors, because these are some of the things which will feed into your value proposition and your unique selling point. So when someone asks you why you're doing your business different, if you're talking about your business being ESG positive, it means that your business is competitive and it is efficient. Then the final thing, what you're supposed to do, I really can't read this. Oh yeah, to enhance the accountability and performance of your business. So another key thing that ESG is very focuses much on is being accountable and like noticing, being able to track the performance of your business. Right now we have, for most of the small entrepreneurs, we have the DigiQua platform, which enables you to track your investment, your inventory, to be able to track the number of people you've sold to, their contacts, and to be able to just know the overall business performance. How can you use this as a way to be able to look for more funding from investors? So we're going to try and demystify and just figure out key terms. So a lot of the things about the ESG is something which we're already practicing. The goal of today's lesson will be for us to be able to know and identify, these are the specific things that I'm practicing in my business, and this is what it has, this is the kind of impact that it has. And also to identify the things that you're not doing in your business and what you can do in order to implement them, and what kind of help you might need in order for you to achieve that. So those are the objectives, and as you continue discussing, maybe we shall find out more. So what is ESG? Because I've kept on talking about it, and someone might wonder, what is ESG? So ESG stands for 3 main principles. So we have environmental, we have social, and we have governance. And it refers to the 3 factors when measuring the sustainability and ethical impact of an investment in a business or a company. So basically what this means is, when I put money to your business, how will I know, when someone asks you, how will your business be sustainable? You can measure it from the point of the impact it will have on the environment, the social impact your business will have, and the governance practices that you do, like the way in which you run your business in such a way that it has a positive impact on the employees and also on the community which you run your business. Because a lot of the social entrepreneurs who are in this program and also who are in this call, normally one of the main reasons behind you starting a business is to be able to employ the people in your community, to be able to raise the standards of living of yourself and also the community, and to provide a service that can solve a need that is, or a gap that is in the community. So the ESG weeds out unsustainable companies with outdated practices and harmful side effects, while also minimizing the risk for investors as they invest in more responsible companies with a greater likelihood of succeeding in the long run. So what does this mean? Basically, as an entrepreneur, there's a big pool of funding. If I was to give an example, there's there's a group of people, let us call them the deep state of finance. They have a lot of money and they want to give back to, they want to invest in businesses that can help them, that can give them more returns. But then there's certain rules and regulations that these people follow before investing in businesses. These rules and regulations are what we are calling the ESG. So when you say your business is ESG positive or ESG compliant, it basically means you're aware of the rules and regulations that this deep state of rich people have or organizations have, and you are practicing, your company abides by these rules or by these principles, you know? So it's just a way of communicating in such a way that you're bridging the gap between the investors and the investees, in that case, you as entrepreneurs seeking funding. So basically, when your business is ESG compatible or ESG compliant, it means that the business is very sustainable. If I invest money in that business, I am sure that in the near future, I'm going to be able to reap returns, whether it's going to be financial returns, whether it's going to be environmental benefits to the community, or whether it's going to be social support systems, or maybe better ways of running a business. So that's the whole point of environmental and social governance. So that's the definition, and it's very simplified. And one thing to note is there are different schools of thought when it comes to environmental and social governance. But the one thing which they all agree on is something we call the triple bottom line, meaning that your business should be able to make a profit, your business should be good for the planet, and your business should be good for the people. So the 3 Ps. So if your business does all these 3 things, then you will say you're ESG positive. Now, we've had a brief description of what the definition of what ESG is. Now we need to put it into action, because knowledge is only impactful when it is applied. So for example, under the environmental bit, how can your business be targeting ESG? At this point, I'm really tempted to ask a question. However, I've been told to first do the presentation, and then we shall have a point for questions. But I cannot avoid asking if we are together or if we are flowing together. Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Pamoja.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so of the 3 factors, Asante Uswazi. Of the 3 factors that we are going to be looking at, the first one is the environmental. So under the environmental, this is the criteria that examines how a business acts as a steward of the natural environment. Basically the planet. How is your business protecting the planet? And under this docket, if you want to get more information, you can look at the Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which is climate action, and also Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which talks about restoring the natural ecosystems and protecting, I think, restoring the natural ecosystem, something of the sort. That one will give you a bit of guidance on how you can tweak and model your business model according to that. So when you look at businesses that are in the process of waste management and prevention of pollution, if your business is trying to reduce its carbon footprint, such as reducing the waste that you're doing, or maybe you're recycling, you fall in under the environmental criteria. If your business is falling under resource depletion, so for example, I know there's a business called Canopy Garden Center who focuses on teaching communities on how to use bamboo as a way of creating employment, economic empowerment, and also restoring the environment. So we realize that some of the businesses that are existing currently are depleting the resources, especially fossil fuels. So if your business is, you're in the briquette business, or you're using the sugarcane bagasse to make fuel, you're still in the resource depletion part, because you're preventing the use of fossil fuel, or you're generating a way in which human beings can utilize other ways of providing fuel and of getting fuel. Under the greenhouse gas emission, Right now, there's a lot of talk about the COP22. That is a group of countries are coming together to chart the way forward towards building a more sustainable environment. Right now, the goal is to reduce the degrees by which the earth is heating up. So these are some of the things which, as an entrepreneur, you need to be aware of, because this is how funding is going. This falls under the green business and also under the circular economy. You need to go and read more about how your business is is supporting greenhouse gas emission, how maybe you're moving away from using a lot of paper to move to doing a lot of digital transactions to prevent the cutting of trees. You know, how maybe you don't use plastics in your office, you use natural substances, materials such as coconuts, and we have a business that does that in case you wanted to maybe change your business model or infuse that into your business. How your business is also is addressing deforestation and also climate change. So these are some of the criteria, and these are not only limited to this. I just decided to get some of the examples under which your business can be falling under the environmental bit, because as we've said, under the ESG, there are 3 bits, and the first bit is under the environment. So these are some of the examples in which you can say your business is ESG positive. Up to there, I hope you're taking notes, because at the end of this presentation, I'll be able to have a small chat discussion, and then you can ask questions on how maybe you can infuse that to your business, and I'll be able to give a bit of guidance, and maybe we can discuss further. So that's the first bit, that's the environment under the 3. Now, the second bit which we're going to look at is the social criteria. So we've looked at the environment. Now the second bit is the social criteria. If you notice, we are looking at things in bits of 3, because 3 is easy to remember. So under the social criteria, it looks at how the company treats people and what it concentrates on. So this is things like employee relations and diversity. So under employee relations, it's like how many employees, how many turnovers do you have? Like how many employees come to your job and then leave? You know, if there's a lot of employees who are leaving your organization, that's a red flag. You know, what is the diversity of your employee? Are you including people with special needs? Are you including, is there a gender lens? I know yesterday was the day of the International Girl Child. Did you celebrate it in your company? You know, did you tell the women in the company, do you appreciate them? You know, do you have laws that provide support for people who are in labor? You know, and how do you treat your employees? So a bad example is the flower farms of Naivasha. There's been challenges with how they treat their employees, but I know because of the ESG principles, that was previously. Right now, there are steps to ensure that they treat the employees well and with dignity. You know, like give your employee a contract if you can, you know, explain to them the working hours, don't overwork them, you know, don't underpay them. Yeah, that also falls into the second bit. What are your working conditions? So you'll realize when you're pitching to an investor right now, since you're trying to scale, they'll ask you what kind of, how many people have you employed? How many children do they have, for instance? Have you gotten for them insurance, you know? Are there any other trainings that they get, you know? Do you employ children? You know, are you putting them under slavery? So working conditions is very important, and you can highlight this whenever you're pitching to an investor. You can say, for instance, in your workplace, you provide free mental health consultation services for people. You have a walk-in policy whereby anyone can come and give open feedback to anybody. You know, it's the simple things, but you have to be able to communicate this, because investors are used to dealing with corporates and companies where there's strict terms of engagement. So as an entrepreneur, you need to innovate your business model and communicate that. For example, if you have some casual laborers and they tell you that they can't come in the morning because they're taking their children to school, they can only come at a specific time, you can say that you offer flexible work hours to your employee, you know, and that's a plus for you. So basically what we are learning is how you can term your business practices and how you can term the culture of your business in such a way that an investor is willing to support you because they see how your business is going to be sustainable. Another social bit is the local communities. So how do you support projects within the community? Are you Are you providing a product at an affordable rate to the people of your community? You know, if you're saying your products are organic, are they really organic, or are you just, cutting corners? Under health and safety, do you have, if you're handling food, do you have the licenses required for you to handle food? And the people who you have employed, do they have the protective gear that they need in order for them to be safe and to be protected when they're when they're providing this food? If you're in the waste management industry, do the people have aprons? Do they have gumboots? Are they safely protected? Do they know about maybe first aid in case an injury happens? Do they have insurance? So these are some of the issues. And how do you handle conflict? Because as a business, if you're an entrepreneur and you're breaking barriers and you're changing the narrative, sometimes there might be conflict in the communities. So how do you as an entrepreneur employ the growth mindset and you're able to bring people together and discuss and come up with a way forward? How do you deal with the community? Is it a risky venture giving you money, or will people come and break in? Because I know that some of the businesses, for example, if you look at some of business like Uswazi is a community business that was built in order to support entrepreneurs, in order to support youth who are involved in gangs. So he was trying to prevent a conflict. So if your business is trying to support people, a specific target or a specific group of people who are underserved or who are suffering, then you can be able to talk about the social impact that your business has. And then another thing which is now coming in is under data protection. How do you protect the data of your employees? For example, if you're doing delivery and you have the email addresses, you have the phone numbers, you have the pictures of your clients, do you reveal it to people or do you protect data? Because a lot of companies right now are fishing for data from entrepreneurs, and they're fishing for information in order to sell their products. How keen are you with the information that you're getting, such that there are no leaks, or you're not like a certain politician who normally records people and then tells everyone? Is your business secretive? Are you able to be accountable to the people who have put their trust in you? Yeah, so that's it under the social. And then we shall now move to the final bit of the ESG. I hope we're moving together. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The final bit of the ESG, and is especially now for you entrepreneurs who've already started businesses. If you're looking for bigger stages of funding and you're looking to grow more than SOMO, you need to have a criteria or a structure in which your business is governed, and in which your company is governed. Remember, as an entrepreneur, if you're the only person and you're the only person calling shots, it's very difficult for someone to trust you with a lot of money, because it shows that you're not believing in anybody, or you don't seek consultation. You're not part of a team. So under the governance bit is, how do you pay your taxes? Are you avoiding your taxes, or do you pay your taxes? That's why sometimes people ask you for your tax compliance certificate. How do you pay your board members, and how do you pay yourself under executive remuneration? Because your business has employed you as a CEO or as an employee. If you pay yourself too much, then that means the business will fall. And that's why some of NGOs or some of small businesses such as yours have failed, because an entrepreneur has gotten a grant of 200,000 and they want to pay themselves 150,000, per month. So doesn't make sense, because it's like you can do that, but you see, an investor would want to know how much you're planning on paying yourself, because this is money that someone is investing in you. So it has to make sense. And how do you handle donations and political lobbying? For example, if you want to have more people living with disability included in a program, for example, if you want to have more women, more early, like young mothers included in a program, what strategies or what ways do you use for you to lobby? How do you approach this issue? Are you vocal about the issues affecting the society and the issues affecting your community? And under governance, you need to have zero tolerance for corruption and bribery. As you know, we are a praying nation right now, so corruption and bribery is something that we don't want completely. So, you know, you have to communicate what structures do you have for corruption, and you have to say it clearly that you don't tolerate corruption and you don't tolerate bribery. So even if you're pitching to an investor, and I know in some places you can't really set up a structure without paying the youth or paying some, like the ground, you know. So there's a way in which you can talk about it and it doesn't come out as corruption or bribery. You can talk about it being a facilitation fee or setup costs, you know. So in such a way that people are able to understand the reasoning behind why you're doing what you're doing. The other thing which you're going to, the final thing under governance is board diversity and structure. So as entrepreneurs right now, you need to be thinking of having a board of directors. So a board of directors effectively means that the money that you're having is under control by a board of people. And a board basically means you've gotten industry leaders who advise the business on how they can do their businesses. So under the board, you need to look for, you know, serious people, like people who are known in the community for doing impact. So you can look, for example, an example, you can look for someone like Joshua from Somo. He can be a nice member of your board because he has experience. Yeah, you know, you can look for someone who has maybe trained more people and is known for a specific thing. So this board effectively is in charge of you. So you get to do the day-to-day running of the operations. And after that, before you do anything that can affect the future of the company, you have to tell the board that you're going to do this. So the board will agree or disagree. So how diverse is your board and what is the structure of your board? So you need to think about these things if you're looking for big money, because these are some of the questions which they will be asking you. Yeah. So basically, those are the three central factors of the ESG. And now we want to look at what benefits does it have to you as an entrepreneur? Like, why should you learn about ESG? What impact will it have in your business? So the first thing is accountability. ESG will make sure that if you're given an amount of money, you're able to explain what the money has been done for, the impact that the money has, and you know, like you're accountable to yourself, you're accountable to the people who you've hired. So the other thing which ESG will also help is efficiency and effectiveness. It means that your processes and how you run your businesses will be more efficient and more effective, meaning you will not have sort of bottlenecks or things that will be preventing you from taking advantage of opportunities. Another benefit that if you have the ESG mindset, or if you have the practices, a benefit that you'll have as an entrepreneur is having integrity and being fair. So whenever you have this kind of traits, it means that the employees in your company will be loyal to the company. They will donate their time and their effort to the company. They'll be brand ambassadors to the company. So this is very important for your business, because aside from making the money, these are some of the things that also add in that that an investor will be curious with understanding in order for them to support your business. So that it also makes you responsible. So you will not be, you know, there are businesses that take their waste and dump them in the environment or in the community, just outside. So you'll be responsible for the waste that you're creating, because you know you signed an agreement to reduce the carbon footprint. So you'll be more responsible in even your purchases, and you know, even in your spending. And finally, you'll be more transparent. You'll be open to. You'll be more open to. You'll be more open to people coming into your business to see how you're running your business, because you won't be having any shady dealings or what people normally call wash. Yeah. So up to there, I'd want to stop there and let's see if there's any questions. And the final bit I'll show is maybe opportunities which as entrepreneurs, you can be able to get funding. So I have like 4 different locations which I think will be beneficial for the entrepreneurs. But to this point, I'd want to stop there and see if there's any question or any feedback regarding ESG and how we can use it as an entrepreneur.
Yes,
Hello,
good afternoon.
guys. Good afternoon, Tobias.
Yes, actually, once again, my name is Tobias Ayugi, and I'm the owner of Desert Loop Car Wash. I'm the CEO. So I've heard you talk about corruption. Of course, let me say that we are really trying, or I'm really trying to reduce corruption. But somehow, at some point, I may not be clear, but I think I see it happen even at my car wash, because there is this set of customers that come with their vehicles, mostly these parastatal vehicles. They come, of course, wash their vehicles, and they tell you, just give me a blank receipt. And you know, right now, competition in the car wash industry is very stiff, very, very stiff. Within a stretch of just 1 kilometer, we are about 10 car wash operators. So this guy wants a blank receipt, and I know if a car we are doing at 200, I know probably something else is going to happen. Maybe it's going to double the price.
Sorry, Tobias,
Or
I
something
think.
like that. So
Sorry, I
in
lost
as
you
much
for
as
a
we have
bit.
to at some point, okay. I'm only saying that I have a set of customers, and
Yes.
most of them are from parastatal corporations, and even these people who ride big vehicles. Sometimes when they bring their vehicles to my car wash, you know, at the end of the work, they demand blank receipts. And you know, I'm saying that competition right now in the car wash industry is just very steep. Within a stretch of just 1 kilometer, we are about more than 10 car wash operators. So it's either you give him the blank receipt, he goes and write whatever he wants to write, or he goes to another operator and get the same service at probably a cheaper price and get that blank receipt. So in as much as we are trying to reduce corruption, sometimes it's beyond what we can do. We just have to.
So I have a question, Tobias.
Yes.
You see, these principles, in order for you to practice them, it means there's a sacrifice that you have to make, isn't it? That is why it's a principle, Cindy.
Yes.
Now, my suggestion would be, if the challenge is these guys want you to give them a blank receipt, have you thought of a way of automating it? Yes, in such a way that if they pay by a way that they pay by M-Pesa, and then the receipt that is generated is from Digikua, you know, or automatically the amount that you've paid is what you're going to receive. Because there's a time which you're saying there are people, you know, a car is like a barber shop for a guy, you know. You don't like changing. You see, like, that's the thing. Like, if I really love your service, I will not go to someone else because I already trust you. We have a way of working, you know. So so that is why it's a challenge, because it's not easy for you to practice ESG. But one of the ways in which you can communicate it is you basically, it's beyond your control, because they pay by M-Pesa and the receipt is generated automatically, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is a very big challenge, but it means now you have to sacrifice. Will you compromise your principles and give them the receipt? Because it's not that ESG, now that we've learned it, you have to do it immediately, Sindio. It can be now you want funding in order for you to be ESG positive. And what would that mean? That would mean maybe you get a point of sale system, ndio mtu akikuja aoshe gari yake, automatically, like, they pay via M-Pesa, and the receipt that is generated is the amount of money yenye amelipa na the time amelipa, you know. So if they ask you if you have blank receipts, you can just say you don't. Yeah, you know. So just try. Are we together, Tobias?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Okay.
I have one question.
Yes, Fatma.
You know, to his case now, if I tell the client that I don't have a blank receipt, and let's say he's a client that buys my products in bulky, that means I'm going to lose the client. Na biashara itakuwa chini. So in one way or the other, lazima tu nimkubalie ndo biashara iendelee.
Oh, okay. So now that is different. So I have a question. Ukimpatia hiyo blank receipt, wewe utarecord gani ya wewe mwenyewe?
Okay, so in my case, me, I have 2 receipt books. One that's I don't write anything for those clients that need blank receipts. So the receipt remains empty.
And it has your stamp and it has your details and everything.
Okay, no. It's a cash sale receipt. I only put my stamp on his receipt that is requesting, but it doesn't have any other details apart from the stamp.
Oh, so okay. You need to, because you need to be very careful. There's something called plagiarism, and sometimes as entrepreneurs, because you see right now we are still in the level of tunafanya biashara local, but now imagine you've gotten a grant, of maybe $2 million, and then they've called auditors, and auditors have seen, I have this from Fatma, what's your coconut business called? I keep on forgetting.
Safina
Yeah. I have this receipt for Safina Arts. They bought coconut cups at 7,001. You get it? And then they call you and you say, no, you normally sell it at 350. Are you getting? So already, so people will question you and ask you why is there a challenge? Why is there a difference? And then you'll be a collaborator because you have taken part in a criminal activity. You're getting?
Yes.
So it's very easy for us to target small money, but the whole point of us looking at ESG is if your business grows. Right now, ukipata receipt here, for example, napenda nini? Let's say Pizza Inn, yenye wamenipatia blank receipt. Sinaweza andika chochote na nende ni claim popote, si ndio? Because your business is big, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you infuse that culture and then your employee sees you doing that, and then Safina, you scale, you go to Kakamega, for instance, umemweka kwe manager huko, si ataendelea tu kupeana blank receipt.
Yeah.
Na wewe hautakuwa hapo kujua. So in the end you realize mtu anakuja na claim something na hiyo blank receipt na wewe iko na stamp yako. Are you getting?
Yes, I'm getting.
So you're the one who is going to be liable. Shida itakuwa kwako because hata akienda kotini, see, it's stamped, it's yours, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is why we are trying. There's kuna pesa rahisi, but then even as a client, I'm going to buy something from you because I know the quality. So if I come back and then this time you're telling me you can't do that because of that is business, nitaheshimu, you know? Like if I'm a serious buyer, I will, because what is a receipt compared to the relationship and the good business deal that you've given me, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sasa, thank you. I appreciate.
Okay.
You have enlightened me.
It's okay. Cindy, you have a question?
Not a question, but just maybe 2 cents on, I think it's Fatima, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and also I think Tobias before, when Jason spoke on having a team. Now your team, we say if it's a team of 2 or 3, now your team is the one that is going to employ the culture that you have set. So if your culture is set around corruption, the business and the team is bound to bring corrupt morals within, or corrupt individuals within the business. So if we say I have a business with Jason and Tobias, and it's illegal stuff, and someone wants a blank check, if I've been doing that from the get-go, that is how he or she will constantly be having the thought, oh, Jason's business and Cindy's business is all about, I can maneuver myself because he or she has made me accustomed to certain cultures. So at the get-go, your team needs to be cultured, or your team needs to have proper morals so that when a client who is as big as maybe Pizza Inn comes and says they want a blank check and we don't know the reasons for the blank check, there's likelihood of you can say no, because at the end of the day, it's your business. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cindy. From your talk, you seem like you're very passionate about fighting corruption and transparency in your business. So I'd be curious to see how that goes. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Cindy. Is there anybody else, any insight that we are getting or how we can communicate this in our businesses?
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Marion.
Yeah, so my 2 cents, I think most often than not, if we are talking about, okay, guys, I have a business called Lingo Styles. I'm in fashion and design, and I'm here in Kilimani. You can come up and we'll suit you. Okay, so in a business, running a business is not easy. Okay, so there was this scenario a few weeks ago. I was talking to this person, you know, these people who know that they are in deep state. So we were like just talking, and then it was like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I started business when COVID hit, and this is my 2nd year and it's doing well. And then out of curiosity, akauliza, what is it? And then I said fashion. And then they're like, you know, I have connections with people who can change your life and da 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 da. And then I told him, you know, what are these people we are talking about? And then he's like, these people are in charge of tenders, huge tenders and all that. And then I told him, these huge people don't pay. Or you can get the tender and then they're like 80-20%. So, you know, it's not that much. And then he was like, I thought you were gonna be so happy and want to know more. And then I was like, you could have started with business terms and not the huge names, because sometimes they're just names and they use people who are still upcoming like me. And I've really worked for my business to be where it is right now. And then when someone tells me about, you know, opportunities, I usually want to hear more. So whenever someone comes with a business that is, you know, they promise you a lot of things. Nitaleta watu wengi sana. Ukinifanyia hivi, ukinipea blank checks, ndio mi pia nikulie mdosi. Nitafanya hivi na hivi, nitakuletea my friends and all that. Usually I just compose myself and say, thanks sana kunifanyia marketing. But then again, why should I do that? Because for me, even if you find my team, the receipts and everything, all the communications, I'll be the one to do, like, to close that business. So some people might even come and they talk to my fundis and they're like, si unitengeneze tu nguo alafu nikulipe nini kwa ile tent, unaona? And then my people are like, you know, such a person came and they said this and this. And I get to know that. And sometimes it's from my friends. Yeah, so it's crazy. Business is crazy. But then again, we have like a contract with employees. So if I find you doing something that we've agreed not to be doing in my business, then we are good to go. You know what happens. So yeah, I might take long to hit, you know, the millions of money, but in a clear way, and my conscience is very much at peace. So sometimes let's look at, you know, the other things apart from more money. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marion. I love the example you talked about. Yeah, for 2 reasons. The first one is the culture that you've created with your employees. A lot of people in the fashion industry normally say, tailors run away, you know, so maybe you will tell us a secret why yours are actually telling you that kuna watu wanakuja behind the tent, you know?
Yeah, actually, for some reason, I've been working with a team, because working alone was really hard. I had no energy, and, you know, you get to be depressed and anxiety comes in and all that. So the person, actually, the main person, like the manager of the team, is a very young person, 19-year-old. And the reason as to why I brought them in is all because of loyalty and transparency. And another thing, if you want a loyal team, pay them in time and show them that you trust them, and then they trust you back. So in where we are in Kilimani, if it is repair is like 1,000 shillings. And I know that's that. So someone might come in when I'm not around. And then I find that I'm told, here is the money. We did a repair for such and such and such. Here is the money. So for me, I told them that there is a percentage of money when you do like repair. We don't plan to do repairs. So how do you like motivate your team if you don't want to be stole from, you know? How do you motivate your team? Do you have an incentive? Do you pay them in time? How do you talk to them? Are you someone who's so arrogant and acts like a CEO around? Are you working as a team player? You know, sometimes you ask for their feedback. You ask them, how do you think, by the way, we've been here for such and such a months with you. What has changed? Is this work? So does it have an impact in you apart from being paid? You know, you give them that, they feel like they are the managers, but you lead in between. So yeah, it takes a lot, but then again, just relax and, you know, just work with the team. Don't be the CEOs and, you know, go to moods and all that. No, it's never that serious.
That's true. It's never that serious. And thank you so much, Marion. I was just smiling through the presentation because you are actually talking about the bit of the social bit, how you treat your employees and how you make them feel at home. So that is a very good summary of that bit of the ESG, because there are three. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to get to hear from someone else, basically how they practice ESG or what they think from the session and any insight. Remember, all this information which you're getting right now should help you whenever you're applying for a grant, because as we know, when you're applying for a grant, they'll ask you the financial projection, they'll ask you to write a business plan, they'll ask you maybe to do a Gantt chart. But the most important thing they'll ask you is how to pitch your business. So if you know the key things that they're looking for, whenever you're pitching, if you touch on these things, then it's much more easier for you to stand out compared to someone who really just talked about what their business does. So yeah, is there anybody else? Maybe we'll have one more person and then we'll be able to end the session.
Yes, on me,
Guys,
I don't have a question
before
really.
you continue, sorry. I've just posted the attendance sheet in the chat box. So guys, please fill it in. Huh?
Okay, thanks, Duran. Shady, you don't have a question, but you have what? Shady, please come up. I think.
Hello, Jason.
Yes, Musin.
Now, I managed this month to start a certain business where I have a retail shop and I've stocked it. Apparently, I've come to find out that if not 99%, it's probably 100% of the products that I stock are covered in plastic, like tea leaves, bread, biscuits, everything that I buy from distributors and other companies are packaged. Now, my job is to sell to retailers. And when I sell to the retailers, like let's say sweets, they end up opening just at the door. And I've come to notice that probably my business is contributing to dirtifying the environment with plastic. So how can I overcome this challenge? Yet I'm not the one producing these products like bread, like sweets, but I'm just selling. So, and I care as an entrepreneur, I care about the environment. What can you say about that?
Okay, so you said you produce normal commodities like bread, sweets, sugar, something of the sort.
I resell.
You resell.
Yes, but they come packaged. 99 Royco, everything. 99% of the products that I get are already packed plastic. So when the community buys, they end up disposing them around the environment, these products, and they need them. So what can you say about that to an entrepreneur who cares about the environment?
Okay, for me, there's two ways in which I would look at it. First is if you can buy the things in bulk and then come on unauzia kama mkate in small pieces, you know, you can, if you go to supermarkets, how they have this brown packaging papers, the brown papers sort of that are disposable. That is one way, figuring out how you can come up with different ways of packaging. The other way is if you have, especially for things like Royco and stuff, you basically can just talk to them, do a bit of sensitization. But if you can, if there's a budget for that, you could have a dustbin sort of like where your shop is situated, you know, so that people can know that you can, if you're buying a sweet or something, instead of just throwing it around, you can just throw it at the shop hapo tu nje, you know, setting a dustbin somewhere close. And yeah, more of just talking about it, because if you're passionate about it and it's a business that you're starting, you know, like that means the number of clients who are coming in are a manageable number. So as you're selling and you're chatting them up, you can be like, hey, and usikuwa unatupa hizi kuinje, kama uko na shida unaweza niletea, you know, something of the sort. Yeah, that's what I'd suggest, because you're trying to change a mindset, which is something that takes a bit of time. But if in your space, it's always clean, you know, there's a dustbin there, even when they come there, they're like, hapa hivi nikusafisha, you know. But if around your area kuna makaratasi and it doesn't look presentable, then someone else will also come and buy a wrapper and also just subconsciously throw it without thinking. And I think that's also the same as what Cindy is saying in the chat box. You could start by educating your clients. So just sensitization in a polite way. And also it makes you interesting, because you know, people are like, ukiendaga kule duka ule musi na kona ma story na pia anapenda environment, you know, so it's a plus for you. Is there anybody else with thoughts before I think we've exhausted our 1 hour. Going once.
Hello? No, before you close,
Okay.
Okay, tukikuja tu hapo story ya environment na stories, sometimes pia inaharibu kwa sababu the more akienda akiambiana, tukienda kwa duka ya Muksini kuna story na anapenda environment, the more atakuja. So itafika at a time itakuwa kuna respect kwa biashara, kwa sababu anajua yule ni mtu wangu. So atakuja kukopa na ende tu hivyo.
Oh, kukopa na story are two different things. I don't know, Stephen, if you want to answer that, Stephen Ochieng.
Mine is to say that you've totally ignored the chat box.
I've totally ignored the chat box.
Yes.
Wait, those. Oh, sorry. Which part have I? What have I missed? Lillian has just texted an opportunity to do a CSR in the community. That's so you can do a CSR like corporate social responsibility, educating the community. Stephen, what have I missed? Can you please address it? I'm sure you're able to.
I wanted to highlight the fact that from experience, I've learned that using when describing the business, you refer to your business as we instead of I to build confidence.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed this. Yes. Oh yes. I think that's also a very big point. And also to your point, whenever you're discussing your business to entrepreneurs or to anybody, talk about it in a collective way. You know, don't identify as an individual like I am the founder, I decided to, you know, you can talk about you being a founder, but whenever you're talking about the plans for the organization, use the word we. So we are going to support young kids by providing daily porridge. You know, we want to create an environment where the youth feel safe enough to talk about their mental health challenges. So when you talk about we, people feel like it's not one person. You know, you're just a representation of a group of people, and it builds more trust. So I'm sorry I forgot about that, Stephen, but we are together. Cindy, do you see what I did there? I used we. Anyway, so,
Jason, there's also another small question here
okay.
in the chats by Evelyn Akoth. She's asking that she does detergents, so she'd like to know where her business falls in the ESG, or probably what she can do to adhere to that.
Okay. So Evelyn, so one of the things, if you're doing detergents, you want to look at what are the harmful, what are the challenges with the current detergents? Kama Omo, Starsoft, how are they manufactured? And how do you manufacture yours? You see, that's the first bit. Because if you're looking at the environment, what are the effects that your detergent, if I use your detergent to wash clothes or to wash utensils, and I throw that water away, what if, will it have any effect on the environment? Will it have any effect on my hands over time? You know, that's the first bit. The second bit, which you want to look at, is the employees that you have in your business. How do you treat them? What caliber are they? Are they local women that you've gotten and you're doing training? Are they people who are unemployed and you're trying to provide employment and you're supporting them so that they can make their own soap? What else could you look at under detergents? Do you provide sometimes, because detergents is something that helps with cleanliness and sanitation and hygiene, do you provide more affordable rates to schools around your place because you want schools to have safe environments? You know, under governance, you could look at how is your leadership structure in your organization? You know, do you have a reporting way in which you've employed people and they report to you? Are you responsible to a group of people? Is it the community, or is it the because that's, are you KEBS certified? Because that's something that people would be interested in knowing. So for detergents, first of all, you look at the impact the product itself, the detergent, has on the people. What benefits is it bringing to the people, you know? And then you look at socially, how are you treating your employees? Is there transparency in how you're conducting your business? And transparency can come in the fact that because it doesn't look like a very high pressure job, the employees can have flexible work hours. Do you give them protective clothing as they are mixing the detergent? Like, do you give them masks? You know, do you provide for them training before they do the production? And how is your packaging? Are you using recyclable material, or is it something that is biodegradable, or are you using plastic packaging? You know, something of the sort. So you could also focus more on glass packaging, or a packaging that maybe if it's soap, you know, you can just use makonge, you know, like sisal and tight, and make it presentable, or bamboo wraps, you know, or something that can easily be biodegradable. So those are some of the ideas which I have, like, off the top of my head. Does that make sense, Evelyn? Maybe you can just respond on the chat box if you're okay. Yeah, as Evelyn is doing that, I don't know if there's anybody else. Okay, yeah, so guys, I'm really grateful for your time and for your attention, and also just contributing. I hope that I lost, oh. Okay, I don't know how you lost me, Evelyn. How about you can reach out to me directly? You know, I'm in the SOMO group, and I can be able to guide you. Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
there were, I don't know how many slides that you hadn't finished with.
No, that the final slide is about money, like where people can get investment.
See, that's what's bringing us here.
No, that one is an assignment basically. So these are some of the places where you can be able to get some funds. It was just a by the way, because first, before you we'll have another session where I list down the funding, but before you're able to even get funding right now, you need to at least have some of these practices in place. But there's an organization called Viva. So Viva does capacity building training, and after the training, they're able to support you with a small amount. I think it's about $20, $20 to $30 for you just to be able to do like something small, maybe if it's branding your business or registering your business on social media. Then we have Somo, which we all know. And then we have TechBridge Invest. TechBridge is in Mombasa. So TechBridge looks for organizations that are leveraging in the digital space and technology in order for them to create impact and to provide services. We have the Women Enterprise Fund, which is a government institution, which if you know your youth officer, if you know where the youth office is in your location, you should be able to access the Women Enterprise Fund and the Youth Enterprise Fund. So funny thing about the Women Enterprise Fund is just that 75% of the people are the ones who need to be women. So the other percentage can be men. So you can come up with people, get together and be able to apply for these funds. So I was advised not to focus more on the funding opportunities, but to focus more on the requirements. And if need be, we can now try and see, now that we know what the ESG principles are, what are the options that we can have for us to apply, because there are different grants, and these grants normally come depending on season and depending on the programs that are being run. But one thing that is common in all these grants is that they're going to start factoring in whether your business is ESG compliant. And this is something which, as an entrepreneur, you need to be aware of before applying for this grant so that you can have a unique selling point. Okay. Yeah. So, Steve, I hope tuko sawa for now. Anyway, yeah. So, okay.
Yes, tuko sawa. Tuko sawa.
Thank you. So, yeah, so I want to thank you guys. How can you get in touch with me? Buddha Miss Patkani. Okay, I'll write my email here and then you'll be able to find me. Back to you, Duran, and thank you so much, guys, for joining.
Okay, thank you so much, Jason. I think that session was beyond informative and you really know your subject matter, and thank you for interacting with all the entrepreneurs. I think we've tried to exhaust as many questions as possible and we've made time to just interact with everyone. So we really thank you for the effort that you made. Guys, I want to remind you, Nyangalia, not everyone has filled in the attendance sheet, so kindly do that. It's in the chat box. I will resend it again. I've also extended some time. By 1:20, haitakuwa available to sign. So tafadhali, everyone go ahead and sign. I also want to thank everyone for taking the time to interact with us. Thank you for joining on time for those who did so. And thank you for all the submissions and all the views and all the content you guys have added to this discussion. And maybe in the future, we can also have a session concerning business ethics, because I've seen a lot of you, a lot of you have concerns about those things, especially with the way Kenya basically has a pandemic when it comes to corruption. So it's so hard, even you as a single entrepreneur, a business owner, to also follow the rules. So maybe in future, we can also have a session concerning ethics and how to be ethical and what is the right thing to do and things of that nature. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending. Kindly fill in that sign-in link. Click the link, put your name, business, and number. So I think we can just adjourn this meeting. Thank you everyone for attending. I think kila mtu enjoy lunch. Thank you so much.
Wewe nani anapigia tu kelele? Nikisikia sauti yako tena nitachukua kiboko saa hii.